creating a hygge ritual isn't about cozy aesthetics, as much as I love that and as fun as it is. It's about creating a safe space where you can encourage slow healing. It removes the pressure that we face on a daily basis, that pressure that can sometimes feel so overwhelming when you're dealing with trauma. It takes that pressure off for just a little bit, maybe just 2 minutes, 10 minutes, just for a little bit, so you can work on healing one small step at a time. Do you want to achieve your goals, but anxiety is tripping you up? Like to keep those fun weekend plans, but depression has you counseling again? Hey, I'm Lori, dog mom, lover of nature, and hygge enthusiast. Positive psychology skills help me overcome chronic severe PTSD. If you're ready to learn how to overcome your anxiety and depression and rediscover happiness and purpose in life, then get your cozy on and let's get started. Welcome back to Practical Solutions for PTSD. We're just about to wrap up our Cozy and Chaos series where we're talking about personalizing your hygge routine to help you manage your anxiety and depression, etc. And if the idea of personalizing your routine strikes a note with you, I encourage you to go to calendly.com/practical solutions for PTSD and schedule a 60-minute coaching session, and we can dive in to try how to do this for you. Can give you an easy win, help you to figure out some things that help you and start building that process of customizing your approach to handling stress, anxiety, and depression in your life. So again, that's calendly.com/practical solutions for PTSD. Welcome back to our final episode for Cozy in the Chaos. Over the last 6 weeks or so, we have talked about how hygge and your love language paired together can make a very unique combination of how you can address anxiety symptoms, seasonal depression, various, isolation, loneliness, etc. Can help you deal with a lot of these issues that we see when we're dealing with trauma. And how to customize that by your love language. So each episode we dove into one love language and talked about how that would look with that love language. So today we're going to bring it all together, kind of put the bow on top, and help you create your own hygge ritual and give you the steps on how to do that, throw in some ideas according to your love language, and we'll wrap this up so you have a complete step-by-step guide on how to create your own hygge ritual that can help you. And one thing to keep in mind when we're going through this, hygge is not about perfection. It's about being present in the moment. It's about the connection, the calm, the warmth that you can bring. So this is something that's going to migrate. In fact, when I was putting this together, there's things I've done for a while. There's things I'm still working on because hygge is a live thing. It's not like a static, this is what I do every single day. It's a live practice that will morph and change over time and will look different depending on what your needs are at that moment. So I want to be able to go through this really quick. It shouldn't be a super long episode, but to be able to help you understand how to pull this together and create your own ritual. So why does a hygge ritual work? Part of that is because there's an element of predictability. When you set up the ritual, you're signaling your mind, your emotions, your body that certain things are going to happen. Now, when I first started getting into hygge, this would have been when we were in the height of COVID and everybody was at home, and literally there would be days that went by and I would not step foot off of my property. And so it was very easy to get, why comb my hair? I'm not going to see anybody, right? Or, what's the point of getting dressed because the only person that's going to see me or the only people or only things are my 2 dogs and maybe my neighbor if she's looking out her kitchen window. But that's about it, so what's the point? And I noticed it started affecting how I felt and how I approached life. So I began to create rituals. I would still get up and comb my hair and get dressed in go to work clothes, casual go to work clothes, but still get dressed. And I would start doing things like opening my windows every single morning. Regardless, I would let whatever light was out there, if it was foggy or not, I would still let the light in. And I began to notice a change in how how I felt, how my brain was responding, how my emotions were responding. And this really does work. So that predictability, like every morning I go through, I open up my blinds, I turn on my lights, like the twinkle lights that I have out, especially on gray days, it makes them a little bit brighter. And that predictability signals the mind and the body that things aren't as bad as you think, that you are safe, that there's some routine, and it helps lower that anxiety and helps your nervous system shift into safety. So another reason why Hygge particular works is the sensory comfort. So the sensory comfort can be absolutely tied to your love language. So it could be warm light, soft textures, gentle sounds, whatever it is that is hitting your senses, that sends cues to your brain that, hey, everything is safe. It's all okay. We can do this. So the next thing is that it provides emotional nourishment. So when your ritual matches your love language, your brain receives that nourishment very deeply, and it really resonates within your heart, which is one reason why I've presented it this way with the love languages, so that you can personalize it in such a way that it means the most to you as an individual. So it helps you feel seen, soothed, and connected. So it really helps nourish your nervous system and very deeply, and helps you to be able to take advantage of that practice to the maximum degree. So you could even think of it as your Hygge ritual. Think of it as a nervous system reset that heals through comfort, connection, and small amounts of peace. And that's one thing as we get into this, don't feel super overwhelmed. It doesn't have to be more than like 2 minutes long, 10 minutes. It can be a very short ritual. You can start simple and build on it. And as I mentioned earlier, there's things I have not incorporated yet that I'm looking to do that. So you can start small and go from there. So I'm going to guide you through the steps. You don't necessarily have to write it down if you're not in a position to do so. You can just listen and see what you remember when you go to do it. If you need a reference back, obviously you can listen to this episode again. And I will also put a quick reference on the Facebook page. So if you haven't already joined our Facebook, it's Overcome Depression and Anxiety Using Positive Psychology to Overcome PTSD. Look us up. It is a private group, so you can just put in a request to join. We'll get that approved, and you can find some additional information there. I'll also be sharing some information on the newsletter. If you need information on that, you can just go to practicalsolutionsforptsd.grwebsite.com and sign up for the newsletter. You'll get some information that way as well. All right, so let's jump in here. We are going to have, I think it's 4 steps. I should have looked this up before. Sorry, 5 steps. So 5 steps to build a Hygge ritual for you. So let's jump into step 1. So the first one is to choose your Hygge setting. And this can be a huge variety of things. And actually, I have more than one because it depends on if I'm doing Hygge in the morning or at night. But you can choose a favorite chair. It could be a corner of your bed, especially like if you're in a situation where you're sharing quarters with someone. You don't have run of the house or whatever. Maybe you're in a small dorm room or whatever. You can choose just a corner of your bed. You can have a tiny reading nook, your front porch. Now this is where I do my morning Hygge, either that or in my recliner, but it depends on how I'm feeling. But I'll do it one or the other. So I have a place on my front porch where I'll do it. If you cannot get away from all the noise in your house, you want to escape, you can go sit in your car, and that would be a fantastic way to do it. Maybe you can lock yourself in the bathroom for a quick escape there. So if you're wondering, where do I do this? Just ask yourself this question. Where do I breathe a little easier? And there's your answer. That's where you can do your Hygge practice. Wherever it is that you can just take a deeper breath and you feel just a little bit more relaxed, and maybe the demands on you are a little bit less. Step number 2 is to add 1 sensory element. You don't try to add 5 or 6 or 7. Now you can layer these later as you go. You can add more, but start with just 1. This could be a warm blanket, soft socks, a candle, a warm drink, low lighting. It could be an essential oil diffuser. Maybe you're playing a fireplace on a YouTube video, or maybe you have a little electric fireplace that you can turn on, or the real thing would be even better, right? So just 1 sensory element that's hitting one of the 5 senses. Choose one of those, and Remember, this is about simplicity, not about aesthetics. So you're not trying to make a place look, Instagram worthy or Facebook post worthy. You're just looking for something that helps trigger the senses and helps create that cozy feeling for you. And then step number 3 is to identify your love language. So if you've been tracking with us through the entire series, I'm sure you've probably already identified that. If you haven't, as I go through each one of these, you can figure out which one you resonate with the most. So it's the primary way that you either give or receive love. So either one works. If you're going to figure that out, and then pick the elements that match with that. So let's say words of affirmation. Your ritual might look something like journaling a single sentence of self-compassion, reading a comforting scripture or poem, or maybe there's like a favorite promise that God gave you and you could have that close by that you review. Listening to a gentle, affirming audio. So it could be music or somebody reading something, maybe a Bible study that you're doing on your phone app or something. Write a kind note to yourself and place it on your nightstand. So maybe it could be, you did well today, or this is what you succeeded at. Or a listener actually posted this in our Facebook group, is where she, like every Wednesday, she would write down the wins of that week or what she was grateful for. And that is a fantastic ritual that she has in place. So your complete ritual might be something like light a candle, take one deep breath, and then read a gratitude sentence out loud and sit in silence for 30 seconds. And there could be a ritual for words of affirmation. Acts of service. Your ritual might include things like preparing your space ahead of time, making a warm drink for yourself. Now, acts of service is not my love language, but I love doing that one right there, making a warm drink for myself. That's actually part of my evening ritual. Tidying one small surface to reduce overwhelm. And this could be a good thing for most of us. Laying out tomorrow's clothes as an act of kindness to yourself. So your ritual could be something like a warm blanket in the dryer, pour tea and sit in your corner, and then thank yourself for something that day, or say, look, this was a win that you did, or something like this where you're doing, taking care of yourself. So if your love language is receiving gifts, your ritual could include choosing a special mug that this is the only time you use it is during your Hygge ritual. So it will trigger your mind when you pull that mug out that the Hygge ritual is about to start. It could be a candle or a journal that you reserve only for this ritual. You only use this journal when you're doing your Hygge ritual. Using a cozy blanket that you gifted to yourself. This would be one of my favorites. Save one small treat for your Hygge moment. So maybe this is something that you've put off that chocolate all day long, and you have that one special piece of chocolate that you're going to have with a warm cup of tea. So your ritual could look something like this. If your love language is receiving gifts, your ritual could be you select your special item, whatever it is, that mug, that candle, that journal, whatever it is. You sip your tea slowly, or whatever drink you have. Savor the moment as a gift, not as a task. So this moment is a gift that you're giving to yourself, and you can just sit and savor that for a moment. So number 4, with your love languages, number 4 is quality time. So your ritual might include 5 minutes of distraction-free quiet, some slow reading, mindful breathing, special intentional time between yourself and God, listening to calm music. So your mini ritual could be something like, put your phone in another room so it's not going to distract you, or turn it off, put it on silent, whatever. Sit with a warm drink. I know my housemate, her love language is quality time, and she loves to sit with a cup of decaffeinated coffee in the evenings. Take some moment to breathe, and then let your thoughts settle. So get rid of your distractions, sit with a warm beverage, breathe, and let your thoughts settle. 2 to 10 minutes. Doesn't have to be forever, just a little bit of time. And our final love language is physical touch, and this would be my primary. So your ritual might include wrapping yourself in a blanket. Weighted blankets provide grounding. I love them. Oh, I love my weighted blanket. Hand lotion moments. Maybe you're taking just a moment to take care of yourself through, putting that lotion on, or essential oils, or whatever it may be. Placing your hand over your heart. There's actually a breathing exercise that includes this, and it's one of my favorites. a gentle rocking to regulate your vagus nerve. So maybe your mini ritual could be something like, wrap up in your blanket, put your hands over your heart, slowly rock and whisper, "I'm safe. This is a good moment," depending on what you need. Now, for me, I already mentioned that physical touch is my primary, and I actually combine some elements from some of the other love languages, but I absolutely love my blankets. In fact, I will make the house cold enough that I can stand the blanket. Just so I can have my blankets. I have to have my blankets. And so I'll sit in the evenings, I'll go in my room and I'll sit in my chair and turn the overhead light on, turn the ambient light on, my lamps. I have 3 different lamps that I have in there. And that signals my mind that my day is over. My work day is over. I'm settling down, I'm calming down. So that's like one big thing is the lights. And then I have a blanket I put over my lap. I absolutely love my fuzzy blankets. And then I'll have a cup of warm beverage and I'll just relax there in my chair. So this is what mine looks like as a physical touch person. A combination of some of the other ones thrown in there. So if you put all this together to create your own ritual, here's a simple formula that you can do. And you can plug in your own answers, but here you go. So number 1 is your space. So my space is fill in the blank. My cozy element is fill in the blank, whatever that cozy element is for you. And it may be more than one, but just start with one. Don't try to overload yourself. Just start with one. You can add more as you go. And then my love language practice is, so what of your love, I just went through those love language things. What are you going to incorporate that really speaks to your heart the most? And then number 4 is you want to make it a little bit deeper, to kind of deepen this and make it more meaningful, is you can add a closing moment, something that has some emotional depth or spiritual depth. So you can do some breathing exercises, maybe a prayer of gratitude, a moment of silence, just something just to kind of give that little bit of time where it settles a little deeper in your heart. So, and remember, this does not have to be long. It can be 2 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. It's not a long time. It's just enough to kind of restore the heart a little bit. So don't make it long. Don't make it overwhelming. Just focus on, getting those primary elements down and making it a restorative moment. So our 5 steps to creating your individualized Hygge ritual is 1, to identify your space. 2, to identify your cozy element. Remember, just start with 1. You can build more later, but just start with 1. Number 3 is to incorporate your love language practice, and this can be tied to your cozy element. It could be an additional item. And number 4 is to incorporate a closing moment or something that has some depth and some meaning to that, or some spiritual depth to that. Number 5 is to keep this restorative. So don't put pressure on yourself to make it perfect or to have some kind of glamorous thing or to even have it very long. It can be as short as you need it to be. It can be as long as you need it to be. Just focus on making it restorative. So as we wrap this up, why is a Hygge ritual so important? Why does this matter? This is more than a cozy aesthetic, although that all by itself is fun. Hygge rituals help retrain your nervous system to believe that you're safe, that you're cared for, and you can rest. It gives you permission to stop for a little bit and just take a breath. It encourages slow healing and not pressure. So it's taking the pressure off of yourself in a demanding world that we live in today. Whether it be the fast pace that we just came through with the holidays. Right now we're in January, so you have that pressure for, setting new goals, new dreams, new ambitions, new resolutions, whatever that could be, the pressure to perform better. It's taking the pressure off for just a little bit. It doesn't have to be forever, but just for a little bit to encourage the healing of the soul. So this wraps up our Cozy and Chaos series and the 5 love languages and how to put it all together and make a ritual for yourself. And obviously it's something you could build on. Don't strive for perfection, just strive to take that step forward. You can build and create and make it even better in the future. You can find more information on building your routine at our Facebook page. Just go to Overcome Depression and Anxiety. Use positive psychology to combat PTSD. The link is also in the comments below. We'll see you there. Hey, my friend. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you please take 30 seconds and share it with someone you know who may be struggling with depression and anxiety? Also, would you please leave a quick review for the show? Knowing how this podcast is helping you fills my heart with so much joy, and it motivates me for future episodes. For now, it's time for Sam and I to head outside to enjoy some sunshine and fresh air. We'll see you back here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for more great episodes.